How do we get the most business out of our digital marketing? Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about why digital marketing and why digital specifically when we talk about marketing. We're going to talk about the value ladder. And we're going to talk about Robert Cialdini's book, Influence. I've actually got it right in here. Let me see. Yes. So this book, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, I think is a must if you do any sort of sales or you do any sort of marketing. We're going to talk about how it applies to marketing itself. We're going to talk about content marketing, selecting the right online channel, and then measuring your results and improving over time, since that's really the long game, right? And then at the end, we'll talk about my Digital Marketing Mastery 2.0 course, which is basically a training course showing how to do all this online. Let's start with why digital marketing. So, as you've probably noticed, that's where people are at. People are spending a lot of time on these smartphones, and at work all day we're on the computer, right? That's pretty normal for most of us. And we know that other people are doing the same thing. So that means that's where people's attention is going, and that's where we need to drive more of our marketing, more of our advertising. And then another reason is really the superior targeting. So when we think of it, we'll talk more about basically what I call 20th century advertising, which is, newspapers, magazines, I should say TVs, radio, anything like that. That's really, you're doing some kind of targeting when you're doing that kind of advertising, but this gets even more pinpointed. We can talk about that. And then in general, it can be more economical. It can be cheaper to market online. And also you can really just pay for results. Particularly, we'll talk about paying per click to get people to your website. So you're targeting, we got superior targeting, and then we're bringing the right people to our website, and we only pay if they come to our website. Another big reason is it's measurable. So if you've ever done a print flyer or anything like that, and you've sent out 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is, it can be pretty difficult to gauge did that work. Versus if we're sending people to our website and tracking an action, we can see end to end what was the result, how much do we pay, and how many leads or sales did we get. And an overlooked one that I think is really important that we really try to take advantage of. So I run a digital marketing agency where we do SEO, Google Ads, pay-per-click ads, social media marketing for clients. And part of what we can do is quick tests. So again, thinking back to the print world is basically, you could maybe do an A/B test where some people receive one letter, some people receive another one or a different brochure. But then what is the results? If we're not able to measure tightly what were the results, it's hard to quickly do tests and make improvements over time. It's almost like compound interest in your savings account, right? Or in your retirement account. So let's talk a little more about the targeting side of it. So a big one, obviously, if we do Google or marketing on Bing, we'll talk both about SEO and Google ads and Bing ads. Basically, what people are searching or even what they have searched can figure in. If someone's going to Google either on their smartphone or on their computer, and they're typing in certain keywords that says, I'm looking for this, I'm comparing this, I'm looking for reviews. Some cases they're looking for informational queries. Some cases they're looking for commercial queries. I want to buy pizza today. I need a haircut tonight, whatever it is. If someone's typing in keywords that show that they're looking for you, that's a really important place to be. More broadly than that, we can reach people based on their interests. And Facebook is extremely powerful for this one in terms of people are liking and commenting and sharing things all the time. And so Facebook's algorithm picks up what are people's interests. Also, Facebook and some of these other channels know who people are, kind of where they're at geographically, and then what their demographics are in terms of, age, gender, and sometimes even family dynamics. And then this one I think is a very powerful one, is people visiting previous websites, including your website, people's past search history or past browsing history. It's pretty incredible what kind of data Google and Facebook have on that. And then if we're going B2B, which some of us are, including me as an agency owner, so we're targeting people with certain job titles in certain industries, certain roles, and LinkedIn is a great source of that. So what about the paying for results piece? So there's kind of 3 levels of a marketing funnel, and this applied offline in different ways, but now I'll talk about what it means online. So an impression is just someone sees your ad or someone sees a link to your site, right? A click is they actually click and come to your website, and then a conversion is they came to your site and they did something you actually wanted them to do. So that could be filling out a contact form, calling you, or buying something on your website, right? So these are kind of the ways to think about it. And really what's changed in the 21st century is this one right here. Back in back when you're running a newspaper ad, you just pay per 1,000 people you reach. That was paying per impression. They may never come to your website. They may never call you. But in web marketing, we're paying for the clicks piece, or at least going further down the funnel to be able to pay for results and just pay when people actually come to our website. And when we do this, I know this is kind of a grid here. This is basically from a client's Google ad account here that we run. So we've got these pieces. Impressions, this is how many times the ad showed. Clicks, this is how many clicks we got. I'm going to skip ahead. And then conversions, that's that last piece. That means they actually fill out a contact form and they're interested in their services. So clicks times average CPC. CPC just means cost per click. So they paid per click. It was just over $1. So they paid $232 and they got 9 leads. So their cost per lead was 24 bucks. And for these guys, it was well worth it of some of those leads close, and then those become, you know, multi-$1,000 clients over the course of years, basically. So this was extremely profitable for them. And this is really the point you want to get to as much as you can, particularly with your online advertising, or I would say with any of your advertising as possible. Another way to look at this is the website analytics. So we run ads on Google, cost per click, CPC, Facebook, cost per click, and then Bing, cost per click. And so we can see, here's how many sessions or visits came to the site. Here's how many pages they saw on the site. Here's how long they spent. And then here's how many actual goal completions or form submissions we saw. So that's kind of the level you want to get to. The other piece of it is really the demand for digital marketing just really continues to go up. As this becomes hotter and hotter, more and more people are going online, more people are spending more time online, and it's getting complicated in terms of what you can do and how you can measure it and all that. So the demand for these skills just continues to increase. And certainly our agency has benefited from that. And we'll talk more about how you can learn more of these skills as well. In terms of these skills, so LinkedIn is rating what are the most in-demand skills this year, and guess what's showing up on the list? The top 25, we see digital marketing right on the list, as well as social media marketing, which I consider digital marketing. You could also say video production is going to be big. Video is the future and really the present of the internet. And then user experience design, UX design, part of that can relate to how are you laying out your web pages. So I see at least 4 out of 25 that have to do or can have to do with digital marketing, basically. So these are really in-demand skills. So that's a big reason we want to pay attention to this and look at this and think about why is that such a big deal. Another one I recommend in my course is sort of recommended reading for the class is called .com Secrets. And Russell Brunson, who founded ClickFunnels, which is sort of a web funnel tool, is another way to build websites and then automated email marketing campaigns and things like that. Here's what he talks about. Well, let me get to that in one second, but I just want to say this quote came from Warren Buffett. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. And this one took me a couple of years to understand, which is sort of embarrassing. It's probably very obvious to you. But sort of, if you think about a time you got a great deal on something, you know, you paid a price that was down here and you got value that was up here. And maybe you told your friends about, I can't believe what a great deal this was. Or if you paid a lot of money and something was a ripoff, your price was higher than the value you received. So those are kind of the two different pieces. Interesting study about this. So Uber released some of its data, or they let some economists dig into their data. And one thing that's when people hail rides with Uber is that, you know, in a city like Chicago or New York or something, you know, people could be quite nearby each other and they're all hailing rides, and Uber's tweaking the price to see what the correct price is at the time to kind of match supply and demand. And so there's all this data about how much would people have been willing to pay in basically the same neighborhood at the same time, right? So someone may pay a few cents or a few dollars more here and there. And then economists were able to look at this and say, actually, people, based on this data, Uber users or riders would have been happy to pay an extra $7 billion to the company. So this is called consumer surplus. This is a big piece of the value that actually Uber riders got that Uber did not take itself as a company. Here's another way to visualize this. So a lot of us have services and products at different levels, right? So this is kind of the sales piece. We've got different tiers, kind of our starting price, middle price, higher price, right? And if we're a good business, people get more value than they pay. That's the whole idea. That's why we're doing this. That's why it's win-win, right? That's why people buy from us. That's why people continue to buy from us. But the only issue is to get people this much value, they've got to take this first step up and start paying you, right? So what marketing really is is bringing the value up front. So you have a value ladder, a value, step stair, basically, step stool. And so these pieces cost $0, right? So that's part of the reason I do webinars and free talks and things, is basically I want people to start receiving value from me before they're even having to pay me for anything. And that way, when people want more value, then they're ready to take that step up, and it doesn't seem like such a big jump to now start paying when they're ready for more value. And this is really, I think this is really what marketing is all about, is these pieces right here. And once you understand this, you really have a clear roadmap of here's how we connect the $0 offerings up to the sales paid offerings, right? How marketing and sales work together. All right. Now, so this piece here really came from .com Secrets, and so I owe that one to Russell Brunson. I always try to cite my sources on that. Let's move to Robert Cialdini's Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. So Cialdini is a psychology professor in Arizona and studied persuasion professionals, and he really looked at in-person salespeople, even people doing door-to-door in-person sales like that back in the day, and really distilled down the principles of the most successful ones, of some of the most successful salespeople in the country. Here's what they were doing. Here's the principles they were following. And this has really been necessary reading for marketers ever since, even though this was a couple decades ago. So the 6 principles that he came out with, or that he distilled down, are reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, like we like somebody, authority, and then scarcity. I'll talk a little bit about each of these and try to give examples of how they could apply in marketing. So reciprocity is pretty normal and feeds right into that whole value ladder idea of give before you receive, right? So Cialdini says, we should try to repay in kind what another person has provided us. And so we kind of get that feeling of indebtedness. If someone else picks up the check or gets the bar tab or whatever it is, we feel like we say, we'll get you next time, because we don't like that feeling of someone gave to us and we did not give back to them. A pretty interesting example from the book is another professor just started sending Christmas cards to complete strangers every year. And before he knew it, the strangers were sending Christmas cards back. And even after he had stopped, he stayed on other people's lists, and they just continued to send Christmas cards about their family and everything. And they'd never even met. Another example you might recognize is the Hare Krishnas. Sometimes if you go to a bigger city, you'll see they'll actually come up and give you a necklace or some other gift, and then you're supposed to donate them to their religious organization. This is actually how they became such a large organization, and it's kind of parodied in the movie Airplane, if you've ever seen that, where they're almost like aggressive about giving to you because that's how they get by. And then content marketing, we're going to talk more about that here, but that's a great way to do this in marketing, of give before you receive, and that works really well. Another interesting one is commitment and consistency. So this is principle number 2 that Cialdini found in his book. So an interesting example is people were asked, how likely is your horse to win? Is this horse to win in the race? And then they would ask them again after the person had placed a bet for that horse. And what do you think happened? The odds people would place on a single horse winning a single race actually went up after they'd committed and said, I'm putting money on this. So something happens when someone commits and they want to stay consistent with the bet they've made or an agreement they've made. Another interesting example is they did a study. Some of these studies are, there's like a confederate who's someone who's secretly on the side of the person doing the study, or people don't even realize there's a study going on. And so someone had a camera basically on their towel at the beach, and then they would go for a swim in the beach, and a confederate, someone who's working with the researcher, would run up, grab the camera, and run off. And most people just let them go by, like, oh, I guess that person just got robbed, right? But something that would happen is if the person leaving their camera said, hey, will you watch my stuff? And people agreed, then when the person came to steal the camera, it was like over 50% of people would actually intervene and say, stop, that's someone else's camera, or even chasing them down the beach and tackling them, like going vigilante on it. So it's pretty interesting of what a commitment does and how people want to stay consistent to their commitments. And Cialdini says, anytime in sales you can get something in writing, that keeps people committed. Another interesting example on that is the American Cancer Society. People were just knock door to door looking for volunteers and say, hey, can you volunteer this Saturday? You know, most people, no, sorry, I've got things I'm doing, right? But when they changed their tactic, they came around with a clipboard and just asked, hey, would you be willing to volunteer sometime for the American Cancer Society? People say, yeah, of course. And then they came back the next week and said, hey, we've got a specific opening. It looks like you said you'd be willing to volunteer. Will you? and their conversion rate went through the roof basically. So sometimes it's better to start with a small commitment and come back and point to it and say, looks like you said you're the sort of person who volunteers for the American Cancer Society. So it's an interesting one. Let's go on to social proof. So we recognize this one a lot in marketing. One kind of curious example is if you go into a coffee shop in the morning and they just opened and yet there's a jar full of tips, it's like no one else has been there tipping today, but they're trying to like sort of get you going, right? If other people are tipping, you should too. Another one that's similar like that, if you've been to a hotel at all recently, they often have the sign that says most people reuse their towels, and they tie it in to be like a green environmental thing. But really it's the hotel is saving money by not having to launder all the towels, right? So by saying, rather than saying, please just keep your towel and reuse it, they say most of our guests reuse their towels. And that's more convincing, that's more influential. In our marketing, so I own another company called Splendid Beast where we sell custom oil paintings of people's pets. And no, I don't do the paintings, I hire the artists, but I do the marketing. And so when we run Facebook ads, we've seen some great success when we show pictures of previous customers with their pets, with their painting that are happy. And so people can kind of visualize it, and they also see, oh yes, other people do this. Another example on that is people leave comments below on those Facebook ads, and they say, hey, fiance, like give me a pet painting basically, or they can see all the thumbs up and likes and things like that and reactions. And then when you see that, oh, other people are reacting to this ad, that makes me interested. So it's not just a billboard anymore where people are driving by and seeing it or not seeing it. It's like there's interaction, there's two-way interaction, and that shows social proof, and that's a lot of what Facebook is built on. Liking, so no surprise there. You often hear people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So what causes people to like someone else? Attractiveness, not a big surprise, but also not something we necessarily have a lot of control over, maybe. And then similarity, are we similar? Do we have similar interests? Are we similar types of people? Are they paying me compliments? And that's kind of where probably flattery comes from, right? We sort of know that works. Do we have contact and cooperation with them? Cialdini gets into all kinds of examples, not even just in marketing and sales. He's also talking about kind of sociology and anthropology. And he gives some examples about during the civil rights era and sort of racism, when people have prejudiced ideas against other groups, it's often because they don't actually know anyone in that group. And once they know one individual, that can really break down some of their ideas about that. And then, of course, we're quite familiar with conditioning and association. And so Phil Knight from Nike was really one of the first ones to tie big athlete, major athlete, celebrity to the brand. So Nike shoes, Michael Jordan, that was really, that was a game changer basically in marketing and advertising. And we all sort of recognize that. And so there's like this halo effect of, hey, we like Mike, basically, we like Michael Jordan. And so we like these shoes. And we're quite familiar with that now. Another thought is just any kind of network marketing, multi-level marketing. Cialdini talks about Tupperware parties. Why do people buy at a Tupperware party? It's not necessarily because they need more Tupperware. It's really they like the host or they like the environment and the people they're with. And so that piece of it is, I think any sort of direct sales or multi-level marketing is often based on this of you're just trying to support and help people out that you like. In terms of digital marketing, this is an example YouTube channel that I watch. I think video marketing online is a huge opportunity because people get to see you and sort of hear you and see your personality. And that just sort of builds up liking and trust over time. So I just want to include that. And then authority, no surprise, if people put PhD after their name, if people put their CEO or whatever, titles is a big piece of this. What kind of clothes are they wearing? Are they wearing a power suit or whatever? And then are there kind of the trappings of they're driving a fancy car or something like that? One interesting example from Cialdini's book is if somebody in basically a luxury or a fancy car is kind of stopped at a light and they're not going when they're supposed to, people would take longer to honk at them if it was a luxury car than if it was a regular car. So there's something going on there of like that person's an authority. I bring up the YouTube channels again, just because if you're demonstrating your expertise, it could be in a public talk, it could be in a webinar, it could be sort of any sort of free talk or free event. That also flies online in terms of with webinars or with videos, I think, is you're showing your authority, you're showing your stuff. And then finally, scarcity, like a signed Babe Ruth baseball card. I think this kind of ties into that human instinct of we don't want anything taken away from us. We don't like scarcity where like we may not get a chance. We have a fear of missing out. And so we often see this in web marketing of a deal's closing on a certain date or a certain time. And there may even be a countdown timer on the page telling you this is about to run out. We also see this if spots are limited or there's only so many of a product. We know that, hey, we don't want to miss out. We want to get in the rush. So whenever you can have an offer that triggers that, that can be extremely powerful. So that's the sixth of Cialdini's principles. So this tying in with this whole idea, particularly the reciprocity, is give free value and earn people's permission to communicate with them more. So again, here's our value ladder and here's our marketing, right? Sales on the right, marketing on the left. So we want to get people some value before they're even spending money with us. Seth Godin had a book, this is actually back in the 90s, called Permission Marketing. And this is kind of contrasted with interruption marketing, which is, again, thinking of the 90s, say you're watching Seinfeld or X-Files or something, and then, oh, the ads come on. I'm just here for X-Files. I'm not here to watch an ad, right? You're interrupting me with what I'm doing. Versus permission marketing is, hey, do you want more information about this? Get on our email list, basically. So a great way to do this, content marketing piece, and then get people's permission. We talk a lot about blog posts, and that's really helped our organization in terms of ranking higher on Google, and we recommend that for our clients as well and help them with that. Videos is obviously a huge way. I think the better we can all get at producing videos and more comfortable and faster we can get at it, that's just going to be huge in the coming years and decades. And then podcasts too. Some people like me listen to a lot of podcasts. It's kind of the new radio, and it's sort of I almost think of it as like the free Netflix of radio. Like I can really choose the kind of stuff I want to listen to. And so being a guest on podcasts or having your own podcast can be a piece of this. And then what about that step up to that next step of the ladder, right? Or the next step of the stairs? What about a content upgrade of here's 10 tips for Google Ads. If you want 2 more, sign up for our email list, right? Or just a lead magnet. Do you want to see for us, it's our local SEO checklist. Put in your email and get that. And then obviously webinar here, that's what we're doing right now. And that's a big piece of our strategy in 2019 and beyond for Get Found Madison for my company. So the local SEO checklist, this one I mentioned, basically I wrote a very, very long blog post showing exactly what we do for our clients and how we rank our own website and other websites right on Google. And this actually shows up nationally if you Google for the phrase local SEO checklist. Sometimes it bounces around. It's not always number 3, but it's usually in the top spots. And so we get this phrase gets searched a fair bit. It's many hundred times a month. And then we get traffic to the site. There's also a video on the site of me talking for almost 50 minutes all about this. And then you can read the post if you want. And then at the bottom, get access to the local SEO checklist. This was doing okay for us. And one of the things we changed on our site that really made a big difference is we switched to a pop-up. And part of the reason you see a lot of pop-ups on the web is, well, they work. And what you can see is, so we waited 30 or 60 seconds for people to scroll down and start reading the post, and then would say, want to learn to do your own digital marketing step-by-step, first name, email address, and then notice the button, we didn't say sign up for our newsletter or something like that. We made it in their interest. I always hear about WIIFM, what's in it for me? So right from their perspective and say, yes, I want more online leads and sales. That's their perspective, right? I'm not saying submit. I'm not saying sign up for a newsletter. I'm inviting them to do something they want to do. I'm getting this permission marketing, basically. And then we send them an email, the secrets behind a #1 Google ranking, and they can actually see a case study where for my other company, Splendid Beast, we got to #1 in the US for dog paintings, which gets 4,400 searches per month. And I've got a video showing how to do that. So again, trying to give a lot of value up front. Don't be afraid to give away your best stuff. Here's another interesting example from another company. This is a Facebook ad and it's B2B. So I know a couple of you are B2B on here. So even Facebook has a place with this. And notice that, so Drip is an email marketing provider, almost like a competitor to MailChimp and things like that, and Constant Contact. But notice what they didn't do. They didn't say, sign up for Drip or even do a free trial of Drip, which I think is perfectly legitimate. They said, here's a 20 video course learning how to get better at email marketing. And then they somehow targeted me on Facebook and showed it to me. So even though I'm browsing in my own personal time, I'm not necessarily in work mode, they know that, you know, I'm into digital marketing basically. And so they're targeting this to me. So I thought this was a good example of they're paying to give me something for free. And that's kind of a different way of thinking for a lot of us. All right, let's talk about how we select the right channels and where the heck do we focus, because there's just so many different ways to market online. So the major channels, as I see them, some people would put this differently, is they are search, and I count Google Ads, SEO, Bing Ads, all of that in search. Social media. And there's also, you could say there's paid social media and organic social media. I actually recommend doing paid. We can talk about why if you want. Video content and video ads. So I would say that's, video content on social media or even just video marketing on your website, putting free videos up on YouTube or Vimeo, and then even running ads on YouTube, I think is a huge opportunity in the coming years, including this year. And then banner ads, you kind of see those around the web when you're maybe reading the news or looking at sports or just reading an article. And then email marketing is really crucial as well. So here's kind of the 5 channels. You could say there's crossover. Some people say there's only 3, search, social, and email. But I really think video ads and banner ads are really in their own category. So I kind of broke them out that way. So how do we know when to use Google? And how do we know when to use each of these? So if you Google for, say, pizza in Madison, Wisconsin, you get results like this. And these are the organic results. These are SEO results. And in many studies of click-through rates, basically that number 1 spot gets about 30% of the clicks. Number 2 spot under 15%. And then number 3 spot under 10%. So the top 3 get 2/3 of the clicks. And then you can see spots 6 through 10 on page 1, so that'd be below this screenshot even. They share 4% of clicks, and then page 2 shares about 4% of clicks. On the second page, there's another 10 results, and that's why we say in SEO, where's the best place to hide a body? Page 2 of Google, because people are not making it to the second page of Google. You really have to be here. This is the phone book now. So we focused on that. Obviously, we are an SEO company, so we know how to do this, but people have seen, okay, when we search for SEO company in Madison, Get Found Madison comes up, and I get leads every single week this way. If people are coming to me and saying, it looks like you know your stuff. Now, you're in a different industry. You're selling something else, but that's a good thing because it's often easier. I'm competing against 6 pages of other SEO companies who supposedly know what they're doing. But like for you and whatever your industry is, you're competing against other companies that may have SEO, professional SEOs helping them. They may not. They may be focusing on it, they may not be. So it's not just, am I the best company? Do I provide the best products and services? It's, am I optimized for Google's algorithm? And that's really what this is about. So when do we use SEO for our marketing? Keyword research shows there's existing demand. You can actually find out how many people a month search each phrase. And you can do it locally, state, regional, national, international, whatever you want. And once you know that, yes, there's demand here. And then if it's a moment in time search, of people are kind of signaling by what they're querying for that they're a certain place in the buying cycle, that's really important. People do research before they buy, so maybe they're looking for reviews on a product, they're just looking for more information about assisted living or whatever the niche is, right? And then Google ad clicks, because those are pay-per-click, that cost adds up, right? And so you don't always want a pay-per-click, you want to get some free clicks, and I always say free in quotation marks because SEO is a lot of work. And then you have time, but not money. Same reason there. You have time to work on optimizing your site and optimizing your web presence, but you don't necessarily want to pay per click. And I would also say, depending on if you're a local business, if you're a national or international business, you really need to be able to wait 6 months to a year. I got 4 to 18 months here. I would say 4 months is for a local business to start seeing results. If you're selling in a broader region or nationally, I think you're really looking at more like a year. So it takes time. How about search engine marketing? How about ads? So this is both, I'm talking about Google ads and Bing ads. By the way, what % of searches in the US do you think are done on Bing right now? It's about 25%. It's between 20 and 25%, which is just crazy because probably most of us don't use Bing. We don't necessarily know people who use Bing. But Bing is the default on a Windows machine. So if people have PCs and they're just using Microsoft Edge or they still have Internet Explorer, Bing is going to be the default. Bing's also the default on Alexa and some other devices too. For a while, Bing was also the default on iPhone. So if people haven't updated Safari on an old iPhone, that could potentially be running Bing as well. So this is what we do. We say, I want to be the top of Google tomorrow. We could start running ads. This is just an example. Men's Haircut Madison. Somebody's running an ad right at the top. I got one more guest there in the chat. Oh, Scott asks, is Bing trending up? Yes, it is. I'll try to do a quick search for it. Here it is, search engine share market. This is in the US specifically. You can see it's been going up since January 08. Bing was only at about 10%. And if we can get to more present day, yeah, here we go. October of 2018, Bing was at 24.3%. Oath, by the way, is Yahoo, and that's just about 11%. So Google has really slipped, and Bing has come way up from about 10% to almost a quarter of search. So the answer is yes, they've been trending up. That's why I say don't forget about them. And particularly if you serve older clientele or people who are just more likely to get Windows machines and use the defaults, yeah, you need to be paying attention to Bing. I got to keep moving, but great question. So same idea here. We're doing search marketing. Does keyword research show that people search for this? We can actually find out in the trailing 12 months how many people a month search for men's haircut in Madison, right? And then people are doing moment in time searches, pizza, haircut, that certainly fits the bill. But even if we're B2B and we're selling enterprise content management like Caitlin does, it's like people, if they're Googling that, they're thinking about it, right? That's the idea. And then we need faster results than SEO because we can't wait a year. We need to start getting some traffic from these people who are doing these Google searches. And paying per click is still more profitable cost per conversion. So we don't just care how much the clicks cost. There's an auction. It depends how competitive it is, right? But we also want to know how many clicks to the site does it take to get a lead and how much does that lead cost? That's what really matters. And then after that, what if we're doing services, what's our closing rate? So if you also need to have really good landing pages for this. So if you have multiple services, I think we have Sue on, and Sue, I know you have, I believe you have memory care and assisted living, if I recall right. You know, if someone's searching for memory care, they need to go to a page specifically about that. If they're looking for assisted living near them, they need to go to the page for your location that's closest to them, that sort of thing. And there needs to be a really good landing page where they can just watch a little video or see an image, get information quickly, and take action. So again, this is the performance. This is the piece you care about. Even if the clicks are costing you $10 or more, we have law firm clients, and sometimes they're paying 20 and 30 bucks a click, but it's still profitable for them because their leads are worth so much. All right, what about social media? I actually focus on social media ads. So there's a whole world of organic social media marketing. Because of the changes in Facebook algorithm, you know, if you have 1,000 followers on Facebook or people like your business page, and you post something, it's like 30 people out of 1,000 are even going to see it. So that's why I talk about ads. Is organic is dead or dying. So I focus on the ads, and that's just this example, and I showed the Splendid Beast example earlier, or this one. This is the thing I was talking about. Is my ads, when I run them for Splendid Beast pet paintings, the ads get cheaper because of this right here. Look at all the comments we get on these, and then look at how many people share our ad. And when Facebook sees that, it says people really like this content. This is nice and visual, obviously, and we're doing good targeting of people who are pet lovers and stuff, or dog lovers. So when people tag their fiance and say, I want a pet painting, doesn't cost me a dime. And all these likes and shares and comments show Facebook that this is popular content. And so my cost per click goes cheaper, 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 which is really nice. That's that social proof piece we talked about. And then here's Instagram, just an ad we run on there as well. So when do we use Facebook and Instagram ads? If you are targeting people, or you should be targeting people by demographics, age, gender, geographics, right? Interest, what are they into? We have a client that sells special glasses that has magnifying lenses and then light, so people can look at their sewing or quilting or crafts that they're doing. And so we target people based on they're interested in quilting and stuff like that. So it's really powerful that way. They may not be searching for glasses with magnifying glasses with light, right? Magnifying eyeglasses with light, but they are in the demographic. And if they saw an ad for it, they might be intrigued, right? B2C, you're selling to consumers. But I would also say, if you can find good business-to-business audiences, like Drip found me as a digital marketer, I might be interested in their email marketing. And then remarketing just means someone, when you go to a site, you look at some shoes, you leave, and you start seeing those shoes everywhere. That's remarketing. Some people find it creepy and things like that. There's no human behind it. It's being generated algorithmically. And this is really the first place to start, because people need to see your brand and your offer more than once, and they need to see it in different ways. There's something in marketing called the rule of 7. So just because someone comes to your site doesn't mean they're contacting you the first time. Over 95% of people who come to your site are going to leave without buying or contacting you. So that's what remarketing is all about. And then another idea is, if you've got a big list of previous clients, email list, and you've got their personal emails, that gets tricky in B2B, I know. You can actually say, Facebook, find me more people like this. It's pretty amazing. And then visual or video content just kills it. And so obviously I sell dog paintings in my other business, and that just wins all day long. Let's go to LinkedIn ads. So some of us are selling B2B. This is a great way to target people in particular industries, particular roles. So these clicks cost a lot. We just looked at some screenshots where Google ads were $1 a piece or something like that. Facebook ads are sometimes well under $1, depending, or around a couple bucks. LinkedIn ads, I'm seeing $5 to $15 a click and sometimes more. So it ain't cheap. But if we're going B2B and LinkedIn's got the data on who are these people in this target market, if we're targeting by industry, job title, or particular companies, LinkedIn's got the data, Facebook really no longer does. So that's why we'd use LinkedIn ads. And again, if those leads are really worth thousands of dollars to us, it can be worth paying $15 a click. Crazy as that sounds. And then when to use LinkedIn organic video posts, right friggin' now. So I said organic reach on Facebook is pretty much dead. About 3% is normal of your followers will see your content. On LinkedIn, it's a little different. Now from your company page, if you post on your company page, no one sees that crap. But if you put a video in particular, a post or just a video to your personal page, and then your connections see that, and if your connections start liking, commenting, and sharing, then their connections start seeing it as well. So, and then video seems to just get a lot of play right now. So you upload it directly to your personal LinkedIn page. So this is great for building a personal brand or obviously B2B marketing, and you don't want to pay $15 a friggin' click. All right, what about YouTube ads? I think this is a huge opportunity. I'm actually speaking in Chicago about this in a couple months. So you see these are the little pre-roll ads, and you can skip them if you want before you watch a video on YouTube, right? Well, the targeting is just tremendous. So if you're local, regional, or national, basically, if you're a business or organization, I think you should be marketing on YouTube. Think of it like the new TV, except the targeting is way better. A lot of younger people are on it, but I could actually share some stats if you want to. Over half of Americans in every age group are on it, or at least using it. So younger people might watch it more often, but all the way up, even 70 plus years old, people are watching YouTube. It's pretty amazing. And then B2C, and I would say some B2B can work well. And obviously, remarketing is huge. Someone comes to your site and leave, and then they see a video testimonial from one of your previous customers or clients or something like that. Extremely powerful. And then the thing I'm probably most excited about in digital marketing right now, and I've got this in my class, is custom intent audiences. So Google owns YouTube, so you can target people on YouTube based on their recent Google searches. And people are telling Google all the time what they're looking for and what they want to buy. Or if they're browsing competitor websites, you can be showing up on YouTube. It's insane. And then there's YouTube organic. So again, I've got a video, it's a long one here, 53 minutes, about local SEO checklist, how to get found on Google. I've got over 16,000 views on it. And I've now gotten leads from Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and I even had one from Singapore. Somebody emailed me looking for SEO services because they found me on YouTube. That's that free content. And then people take the next step when they want more value. So when to use YouTube for organic marketing? If there are informational queries related to your industry, so people are doing research and they want to know more, that's a great time to catch them. Obviously, this is content marketing. You need to build trust, and you're targeting, I would say, national or international. I say this because, excuse me, some people are local businesses, and that's kind of not how YouTube works. I think you can run ads as a local business on YouTube, but I think for organic marketing, you're really targeting much broader. And that, believe me, I was not counting on getting an SEO lead from Singapore when I put that video out. So it's pretty amazing. It's valuable to have a face to your company and you have someone who would be good. They may not come right to mind, but think about who is the best salesperson in your organization. If you're the owner, it might be you. Or if there's a head of sales or head of marketing, whoever it is, if you could even see them growing into someone who's good on camera, who could do this, it's very, very valuable. Because people don't want to interact with faceless corporations anymore. We're not dealing with IBM and Microsoft anymore. We want to know who we're working with, right? So this is just extremely valuable. If you think about Cialdini's principles, we're hitting on reciprocity. We're getting people to like us. We're building our authority, right? If we're showing videos of other people who've worked with us, we're hitting on social proof. If we're getting 3 or 4 out of the 6, we're getting pretty influential with our marketing. So that's why I talk about it. Google display ads, I think, are overlooked. These are ads you see all over the web. So you could be reading the news, you could be shopping, you could be reading a blog, reading an article, looking at sports, whatever it is, and you see these ads all over the web, and sometimes they're remarketing things you already saw on a website. And the targeting is all the same. What did people recently Google? Are they looking at competitor websites, or have they looked at our site and we're remarketing to them? So the targeting is extremely powerful. The clicks are just dirt cheap, often well under a quarter or certainly under $1 in my experience. So when do we use Google Display Ads? You have a clear value proposition. It can be understood quickly with a visual ad. Think of these as almost like newspaper ads, except online. And you're not saying, I just want an ad in the New York Times, which would cost a fortune. You're saying, I want my ad to show to people in the New York Times who recently searched for senior living or whatever it is. So that's just extremely valuable. And you can have a little ad, gets people to click to your site, and you only pay per click. And then remarketing, people have been to your site, we talked about. Search ads are too pricey, but you have a point in time service or product, and you want to get them in front of people. So this is kind of a way we're moving. We're a Google Ads agency, and like we said with the lawyers, like it gets pretty expensive to pay $25 a click all the time. But can we pay $1 or 50 cents a click with a visual ad? Heck yeah, we can. And then that's that custom intent piece, which I'm just in love with. Google only rolled it out last November, I guess a year and a half ago, and people are just not even taking advantage of it. They have no idea how cheap the leads can be with those cheap clicks. And again, we talked about permission marketing. This is a little bit of interruption marketing. If someone's reading an article on the news, right, they're not necessarily looking for us, but again, if we're targeting really well, they've been to our site before, all right, they'll come back and check out our free talk or our free webinar. That's a pretty good idea. All right, time to talk about email marketing. Let me check the time because I want to make sure we're getting out on time. All right, I'll keep us moving here, and then we'll talk about the course. So email marketing is obviously huge. So you don't want to pay every time you bring someone to the site. Get their email and start email marketing to them. If you can create valuable offers, lead magnets, content upgrades, it's a great way to grow your list. And then if it's a longer sales cycle or there's some nurturing required, it's great to have a series of automated emails that walks people through the value you're offering, basically. And then also, people who bought from you in the past can buy from you in the future, it's a great way to keep in touch with them. Pretty much everybody should use email marketing right now. Conversion optimization, I'm going to skip this. This is making your website more effective so you get more leads out of the people that come to it. If you have a website and you want people to do things on it, you should make your website better all the time. So we measure results and improve over time. Again, a lot of this is bringing people from whatever they're doing on the web or on a device to our website. And we can watch heat maps to see where they're clicking. We can see scroll depth, how far down are they making it, and we can even watch actual recordings of people using our site. Crazy, but true. Don't worry, it stars out anything they actually enter in. And then we actually look at our analytics, our Google Analytics and Google Ads and other data to say, are we getting more people to the site? Are they spending longer on the site? Are they doing the things we want, like submitting job submissions, requesting quotes, clicking to email or clicking to call? Here's a dashboard we built for a client is, where did people come from? Display ads, organic search. This is actually paid social right here, paid search, etc. And then where do the leads come from? What's working? SEO is getting them, direct to the site is getting them. So you can really just see visually where is traffic coming from and where are the leads coming from. And I can get it down to specific emails or specific campaigns. How many people did we get on the site? How many pages? What's the session duration? And then did they buy or did they contact us? Do you want to hear about the digital marketing class that I'm kicking off this month? Sue says yes. Shannon says yes. Can I get one more? Jacob. Caitlin says, I'd like to hear about the course. All right, we will spend the remaining 10 minutes on that. Like we talked about, digital marketing, these skills are really, really in demand. And schools have not necessarily kept up with training people in it. I know Madison College and UW, like they do have digital marketing programs, but they're not keeping up basically with the demand on this. So why a course, and why a course with workshops? So digital marketing can seem complicated and overwhelming. I regularly hear that people don't understand what they're looking at in Google Analytics, if they have it at all. They don't understand the Google Ads interface, and on and on. But like we said, this is really important. This is how businesses and organizations are going to market right now and into the future. And then hiring an agency, and we are an agency or a consultant, can be expensive. And I freely admit that. It's not cheap. And the last piece, why the workshops? So I actually, this is Digital Marketing Mastery 2.0 we're talking about today. I actually just taught this August through February. So I've already been through the course and taught it to a group of students. And one of the things they said is, Egan, this is so much knowledge because we're covering so much, but we need practice with you and experience actually sitting down and doing it. So that's the workshop piece. And I heard a great quote, which is knowledge plus experience equals understanding. So the lecture piece gives the knowledge, and then the workshop piece will give the understanding, is the idea, or the experience to get the understanding. So I will send you a link. If you haven't seen it already, I've got it on Google Docs, and it is extensive. We are going a whole year, and we're basically doing once a month at the Dream Bank in Madison. And if you're not in Madison, email me later. We can talk about it. But I think most of you probably are. So, so in March, we're going to talk about Google and Bing ads, because those can start getting you results right away. Then we're going to go Google Analytics and Google Data Studio. April's a little heavy because I want to say, here's how we measure what goes on the site. So we talk about Google Analytics, Google Data Studio, Google Tag Manager. These are always just to measure and create a dashboard of how people are using your site. And then advanced Google Analytics, how do we track even if people are watching our videos, scrolling down, etc. And in May, we're going to talk about SEO, which is my specialty and how I got into this, and also blog content marketing. In June, we're going to look at Facebook and Instagram ads. And again, I should say for each of these, we're doing 90 minutes of instruction at the Dream Bank, followed by 90 minutes of workshop. And then we're going to have office hours and other ways to ask questions throughout the rest of the month. And then I should also say, I'm going to have video recordings, and you're going to have lifetime access to all that. So when you need to keep working on these over and over after the workshop, or keep building up your skills and running ads and doing this marketing, there's going to be video step-by-step showing you how I do it for our clients, or how we do it for our clients. So yeah, July is video marketing. We're looking at landing page videos, organic YouTube, and YouTube ads. August, we're looking at LinkedIn organic and LinkedIn ads. September, email marketing. October, website conversion rate optimization, which is that whole piece of how do we get more people contacting us or buying from our website, and also quick landing page builders for our campaigns. November 20th is the one I'm really excited about. We're talking about creating automated funnels, so people get in and start receiving value with automated emails and all sorts of things like that, inspired by .com Secrets, and I'm actually showing their tool, ClickFunnels, and it's pretty incredible. I'm really excited for that one. Banner ads and email ads. We're going to look at Google Display ads, Microsoft Audience Network ads, and Gmail ads in December. January, drag and drop websites and pages in WordPress using WordPress page builders. A lot of people have opted for Wix, Squarespace, or other platforms. I think WordPress is where it's at for SEO, and all my competitors with whom I'm friendly in town, everybody swears by WordPress. So I'm going to show how it can actually, using modern WordPress builders, we can be much more efficient, and it's easier than we think to build pages than if we've looked at WordPress in the last 5 years. And then the last one is video marketing. I'm actually going to bring in videographers to teach us more about how do we make great video, what equipment do we need, how do we edit, things like that, how do we create scripts. So that'll end it in February, just because video is so important. I'm going to learn right alongside everybody. So this is the whole, that is the syllabus, and I'll send you a link to that too if you haven't seen it. So is this for me? If you're a marketer or business owner and you want to do or you understand your own digital marketing, yes, it is. And then are you willing to spend a few hours per week, because there is work to do involved, right? And learning valuable 21st century skills. We're just doing 1 3-hour block together per month, but then there's going to be work outside of that too. That's why I bring this up. And then can you make changes to your website, or are you able to contact someone who can make changes to your website? That one really comes up when we're adding tracking code to our site, or when we get to conversion rate optimization, we want to change some things on our site to make it better. And then what's included? So you saw, we talked about the lectures, the workshops, and then the online video. So we're going to have monthly lectures, we're going to have monthly workshops. We're also going to have monthly office hours. So in the off weeks, when we're not having class, basically you can hop on and ask questions. And then we'll have the online videos, so you can go step by step. Here's how I make a Facebook ad, here's how I make a Google ad. We're going to have an online discussion forum. Ben is my developer, and he's adding this to the site right now. We're going to have projects for you to actually implement. It's not busy work, it's not homework, but it's go back and implement this in your organization and send us screenshots or send us proof that you actually did the work. And then we are going to link out to our students from our website, which is a valuable source of SEO links, because we've built up our own SEO. And then if you do all the projects and show you did the work, I will give you a LinkedIn recommendation from me, saying you did this intensive class for a year and you did the work. And then I'll have all kinds of bonus videos and updates. Things are changing all the time in digital marketing, so I keep up with the blogs and podcasts and videos, and I'll share with you what's changing and what's working now. So what are the benefits to, if you're a business owner, a marketer, or salesperson who's interested in this? Obviously, we've talked about learning valuable 21st century skills. The big one is saving your organization a lot of money if you can do this in-house rather than hiring an agency like us. And then grow your organization or business. That should be the reason you're doing this, because that's what we're talking about. How do we get more impressions, more clicks, and more conversions? That whole funnel that I showed at the beginning. If you're a marketer, this is a great way to advance your career. Doing a year-long intensive where you're really skilling up on these skills, and you can confidently tell your boss or your clients what's possible, and more importantly, show them, here's the results we actually achieved. Measuring is a big part of the battle, and that we focus on that a lot. That's why we hit it hard in April on Google Analytics. And then from people who took it in the last one, they really said they enjoyed meeting other smart marketers and growing their network and just meeting fellow classmates. Here's some people who took it in the first round, Digital Marketing Mastery 1.0. Sean Smith from Sean Smith Marketing. She liked the in-person format. She committed to that same. She liked how it was interactive. And she's now creating a new site, and she's also become a creative online director for another company. So that's kind of that career advancement piece I mentioned. Robin, I won't read this whole thing, don't worry. Robin is from Sullivan Design Build. Said Egan's course will allow you to learn and grow your digital marketing skills, plenty of materials and tools to understand. And then I knew the fundamentals of marketing, none of the current digital strategies. I highly recommend this course to anyone wanting to learn or strengthen their digital marketing skills to help grow their company's digital presence. I think some of you folks on know Powder Keg, or you may be here on a referral from Powder Keg. So Elise took it also, and she said, you have real-time examples from Egan, his clients, and feedback from classmates, and they always have good examples. Plus, they ask awesome questions, and so you get to learn that way. So what is the cost of hiring an agency? Full disclosure, this is when people work with Get Found Madison on a retainer basis for a year, and agencies like us, this is pretty normal. So basically $1,500 a month up to $5,000 a month, totally normal. That's how this works. I mean, again, if your agency's good, they're making you more money and you're making this money back, right? But we totally understand, and I've heard a lot that not everybody's ready to bite on this. So hence this course. So we've got 3 options on the course. So one is that season pass, lectures, workshops, online videos, forums, office hours, and bonus lessons. For the season pass, if you pay monthly, that's $250 a month for 12 months for a total of $3,000. And so our first class is Google and Bing ads, and that's on Thursday, March 28th at Dream Bank in that morning. So I need to have this, I need to have the first payment in. I need you to let me know if you're in at least by Wednesday, March 27th, and pay that first one. So just so I know the night before who's going to be there for our first course. And we've only got 20 spots because we're in the what's called the library, the new Dream Bank, and they've got a workshop area for just 20 spots. So I've got it limited in that sense. All right, option number 2 is same as above, just same as above. You want to do this basic package, but you want to just pay up front and say $500. I need that by next Wednesday. So this is basically the early bird upfront discount, and that's $2,500 to do that. And again, just kind of the reason I included that context of just that's almost, you know, some people are paying that much per month for an agency. So I'm trying to make this much cheaper so you can do it in-house. And then the last one is, do you want to add an hour of consulting? Same as everything else. And then if you want to do that one-to-one with someone on our team, basically that's going to be $500 a month for 12 months or $6,000. And again, I just need to know that one by Wednesday, March 27th, that night before we start Google Ads. Next steps is I will email you a link to a survey. Even if you don't want to take the course, please fill it out and just let me know what you thought and let me know why. And then if you're interested, it'll ask yes, and then which pricing option do you want to go with? So yes, fill out the survey and tell me yes or no on it. Even if you don't want to take the course, please do just fill that out so it helps me kind of craft the offer and do better next time. And if you're interested, let me know, and I'm excited to have you in the course and learn together digital marketing for 12 months. And then if the answer is yes, we'll have an official agreement. You can pay that first invoice, and I will see you on March 28th. I see one question in the chat. Julie says, is there a video only option? Yes, Julie, let's, so if you just want the videos and none of this in-person stuff, that's all ready to go. I have over 16 hours of video and it's ready right now, and it's $500. Thanks, Julie, for asking that. Yeah, I'm focusing today on the in-person piece just because we got a lot of great feedback on that and people really liked that part of it, of learning in person. And then they said, we need to have a workshop, so we're working side by side with you. But certainly if these budgets are just out of scope, $500 for the 16 hours of video, and I can get that to you right away. Any other questions about this? I think that's it.